Hello, everybody. How are you on this Saturday? I love the weekend. I've been running around getting everything done. We used to call it Zettabees when I was little, getting all my Zettabees done. Freeze frame pan out. You're welcome. Thank you so much for shedding light. Yeah, we're going to have a good show. Oh, we're at war. Hello. Woke up to that news, to like 1,700 texts. Oh, it's Kristen. Hey, Kristen, how are you? It's good to see you. So we're going to do something fun. Oh, it's my sister and my niece. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. So we are at war, so I do want to spend some time afterwards just talking about some thoughts that I have on that. Just still digesting all the information. I will say I started the show. Of course, I say we're going to wait, and then I can't resist. I will just say last week or 2 weeks ago, when I started talking about the US Constitution, this is what I'm afraid of. Like, you cannot go to war without getting Congress to approve it. And I don't like people bypassing law. I'm afraid that the citizens are not being protected. But anyways, I have thoughts on that because I also have a lot of actual friends who come from Iran, and I've been following the regime over there pretty closely, and they're frightening and scary. So anyways, I do have a lot of thoughts on it that we'll talk about after we get through the cult. What a heavy day, but we're going to have fun. Hi, B Risket for the biscuit. Hi, Belinda. Hi, Shirley. I'm just going to say hi to all of you people. Jess says it the best. Hi, hey, all you beautiful people. Say hi to my mod, Symantec, and Genuine. I love that I have regulars. I love seeing people here. Hey, hippie chick. So I notice when I go to watch YouTube content creators live, they're always late. Like sometimes they're 20, 30 minutes late. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Because I'll tell you, rule of thumb in meetings, I don't care if you're the CEO, if you're a corporate vice president, I don't care if you're an executive, you've got 5 minutes. And if you don't show up in 5 minutes, I'm out and you have to reschedule. And that's how I feel when I'm watching people, but I don't know. Maybe in the YouTube world, you're supposed to be late. I'm not really sure. Hey, Aaron, it's good to see you. Hippie chick, my husband had no idea this all happened. I was telling him about it. He apparently hadn't been online yet. Yeah, I think a lot of people, when you go to war at 1:50 a.m. East Coast time, and you're not even in DC, our administration is not in DC. The whole thing is scary to me. But one big happy family, that's us. Hey, Bay Harbor Beauty, it's good to see you. Let's see, hippie chick, you need to be 5 minutes early to meetings. Yes, you need to be early and on time, or else I was going to say that. Other people's time isn't important. That's the sense that you get. But that might just be in the business world, in the YouTube world. Maybe there's some weird timing thing that I'm not aware of. Hey, Kristen AF. So I'm going to start. My videos from last night are boring, but I don't care. I'm going to show anyways. I told you I just get deer. That's why I went back into the video library and pulled out my foxes and bobcat and the bear, because I wanted people to see some fun things. But right now it's winter. Wait until spring. We get so many foxes in the spring. So, but for now, I'll show you what came through last night. No surprise. There she is. Not as fat as the one the night before. I'll do it one more time because it's slow. She's sniffing. They're really desperate for food. They're looking for food. Of course, you all know my husband's taking care of that because he throws a salad out to them. The other one that I had was literally just a tail wagging. The deer stood in front of the camera. You can only see the deer. So I'm not going to show that one, but I do have kind of a funny one that I'm going to show. Hold on. No, I get these every once in a while, and they're really funny. This is because the snow is so high. So I have out back, I have the cameras are mounted probably 2 feet off the ground, maybe 3 feet. And this one, this little devil, sometimes this happens. I just think it's cute. Not that you've never seen a squirrel before, but they come up and they say hi to the camera now because the snow is so high. Hello. That's it. Is that cute? Little squirrel. Hold on. Hello. I've had birds do that. Last year, I had a woodpecker pecking the camera. I've never had that before, and it was so loud. I was fascinated by it. So that is that as we collect people over to this. Hi, Random Brockton Hoare. Good to see you on this. I know it's sunny out. What's funny is I went out for a nice walk and I walked with Cyberchick sister Lynn, who's in the chat. And we had our dogs out and I was, full gear because I always have my hats and my gloves. I was sweating. It's actually, and she said, yeah, it's 35. That feels so warm compared to what it's been. Semantics adores squirrels. I have so many of them. I have a lot. My sister has lots. Visit her in Wales. Oh, I have a ton of squirrels. They just love it here. So I am Cyberchick Boston. I started this channel in October. October 10th was my very first video. It was about my family's journey of getting exposure to a cult and getting us out. We were the family in the Amazon documentary called Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames. And today, we're going to revisit a podcast that I did December 3rd. It was with Sarah Edmondson, Edmondson. What's her name? Let me write it. Edmondson. Yeah, I don't know why that sounds funny. And her husband, Nippy Ames. They were in the Nexium cults. They were part of the HBO documentary, The Vow, in 2020. I reached out to Sarah when that Vow documentary came out because Brianna was 2 years into the cult and we were desperate. We were reaching out to everyone for assistance. So she knew about us from that phone conversation. And then I reached out to her again in November, December, told her about this podcast. And she said, can you come on my podcast and tell your story? So I'm going to review that. They aired the podcast December 22nd, but it was around Christmas time. And I think I probably aired it shortly after, but I feel like my channel has grown significantly. I think we had 350 subs back then and we're over 1,000 now. So we're going to watch that together, which by the way, is really painful for me to listen to how I sound on it. And I talk super fast. I don't care though. I don't care. We're going to have fun. I'm going to pause it and add, commentary and answer questions if you have any questions. And if you've already seen this, it's probably a repeat. It's going to take us about an hour to go through it, maybe 45 minutes. If you haven't seen it, you can stay and see it again. I'm going to talk about other things after the podcast episode is aired, but I think it's important for people to see it. And I've had a few people reach out and say, I didn't know that your family was that family in the Amazon. I had no idea. So I think we have a lot of new people that might get something out of this. And I did a poll and 90% of you said you wanted to see it, which is really funny. My claim to fame is I did a poll. So I don't know why I have it up there twice. Let me see if this is the one. Okay. It's a podcast. So I don't know. I'm just putting this up here so you can see the podcast, but it's not going to be a video. It's just audio only. Make sure that if you possibly could go and give them a like or download because we are using their material. So I always want to give them a shout out. Their podcast is called A Little Bit Culty. So I'm just reading the chat before we start. I don't know why I always hesitate to do this, but it's good. It's good education for everyone. We're here together. I know why, because it's trauma. I know exactly why. Okay, here we go.
Cheryl Tupa, welcome finally to A Little Bit Culty.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
We are thrilled to have you.
Likewise.
And this has been, I actually think it's been a long time coming because we've been in touch like around the time that we came out. Am I right? Or like 5 years at least?
At least 5 years, maybe 6.
Yeah.
I reached out to you right away and you were so gracious, and thank you. I want to thank you because if
You're
it
so
wasn't
welcome.
for people like you that are willing to help people who are in this situation, we have nowhere to go. There's no experts out there.
Right. And I think it was actually, now that I think about it, it was Sarah Berman who wrote the first
Yes.
article,
I
correct?
remember
For
that.
Vice?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
She'd written the article for Vice. Obviously, she wrote Don't Call It a Cult.
Don't call it a cult.
About Nexium, and she texted me and said, have you heard about Twin Flames? Can I connect you with one of the survivors' family members? And I was like, sure. And we spoke. And I think that was how I first learned about Twin Flames as well. So tell us your story. What?
Side note, there's only 32 people on here. I can tell you the truth. That's not how we met, but I didn't want to correct her. She's talking about a different article. I had reached out to a different Vanity Fair reporter, Allison Allison Hines, sorry. And I had just randomly sent a DM to Sarah to say, can we chat? We're going through a cult and she was so great and called me back, but I didn't want to correct her on this, although I could have, because one thing about when you do a podcast, there were pauses, they edit it together. So if we said something that we wanted to say in a different way or get clarity around, we would pause, and they did a great job editing it. But I just wanted to point that out, that I actually met her through a DM. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but wanted on the record.
What happened to your niece? We're going to go through this journey through the eyes of her and your eyes watching her go through it. So yeah, what was how did you first hear about it? How did you know she was involved?
Yeah, so if I could just lay the foundation of my family story, because this could be anyone out there listening to the podcast. And a little background, I'm in cybersecurity. I've been in cybersecurity for 30 years. I come from a large family, extended family. I'm the youngest of 5. We all live in New England. 3 sisters moved to the same town. We raised our 9 kids to the same school system. Brianna was one of those children. Brianna's my niece that got involved. We vacation together. We have pitch night. We're close. The other 2 siblings stayed in New England. We see each other all the time. And I say that because even though I'm a cybersecurity specialist and my sister's a cybersecurity specialist.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause. Random Brockton Whore, I see you. I can't respond to you or type your name. It says YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing. So I see that you're in the chat. I can see everything that you put in there, but I can't respond to you. Isn't that strange? Heather's, I'm going to pause and just read a couple messages. Hi, Cyberchick. Hi, loves. I'm here with you all. We can't chat because she's running. That's what I figured. I was like, is this a good time on a Saturday? But I said, oh, if people are just running around doing their errands, cooking, they'll join. Look at me already into
Listen, 2 other sisters are nurses. We missed all of the key signs. Brianna was 24 years old, very successful, had been really energetic and vivacious and a powerful singer throughout her whole life, really into music, went to school for music, became a high school teacher for a year, decided to go to Thailand for a year to teach English, came back and at 24, I'm not really sure I want to be a teacher. I love music. I got her into technology. She was thriving, had a boyfriend, moved out with friends and her brother and her boyfriend got a condo outside of the city and was really happy. And one night Googled, how do I know I'm with my soulmate? And it just took her down this rabbit hole. And we didn't know anything about it for a year and a half. We just thought she was doing online coaching. We thought it was harmless. They immediately inundated her with love and adoration and support. And she felt validated and she got something that must have been missing somewhere in her life. And really anyone at 24 questions things, questions their direction, who they should be with, what they're doing. And she just fell hook, line, and sinker. And we did not know until March of 2020, so a year and a half later, when the height of the pandemic, she showed up at my sister's doorstep with her dog and said, can you watch Mookie? I'm going to California. Her mother's a nurse, and she said, I don't think that's a good idea. It's the height of the pandemic. Everyone's shutting down. What do you mean you're going to California? And she said, Jeff and Shalia had a vision, and they let Gretchen know, another member, that she is my soulmate. And Lynn said, my sister, Brianna's mother, said, are you a lesbian? Like, do you feel it in your heart? That's wonderful. And she said, I'm not a lesbian. She is not a woman. She's a masculine form trapped in a female body. And I need to go out there and we have some work to do. And all hell broke loose from that point.
What did her mom do or say after that? How did she react?
None of us reacted well. How do you? Right. And Lynn beats herself up, but Lynn is so strong. Lynn called all of us. She rallied. She got a virtual team of people and said, okay, you cybersecurity people, go do your sleuthing. Find out everything you can. The nurses, go find out about cults. What's going on here? Cousins do this. College students do this. And we became Team Brianna without Brianna knowing it.
Wow.
Behind the scenes.
Now, you use the word cult right away. How did you know? How was that on your radar versus this is just weird?
Yeah, I did something I should have done from day one. I just got online and went to YouTube and watched videos. I could see. I contacted ex-members. I contacted you. We contacted a cult consultant. But so I don't know if the word cult came up. Maybe we were like, this seems strange. Actually, it did. As soon as it was the transitioning piece came up, we're like, that's not normal.
So to be clear, she just showed up to her mom's house with this news. There was no precursor. There was no like other signs before that. This was just the extreme.
The signs were maybe there. Things like what she was eating. She was following their diet recommendation. You pay for something called Divine Dish, and they give you recipes so that it's a control thing, right? They control what you eat. But we were like, oh, maybe it's just like, one of those whatever. We didn't know what it was. We're like, oh, that's interesting. So looking back, that should have been a sign. And she was talking to us, trying to get cousins into more so the younger kids than, because we were not really tolerant of the conversations, but she was like, this is really great. I wish I joined. I wish I joined when she joined. We didn't know the money that she was spending on it. We didn't know anything about the mirror exercises. And she would try to teach everyone what mirror exercises were. And we can talk about that later. Another way of controlling, what you're doing. And we just thought it was really a spiritual course that she was really into.
How much money do you think she spent?
Oh, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. Like probably at one point we thought it must have been over $100,000 because courses can run at $8,000 to $10,000. And then, right away. So she goes to California and I'm on the back end. I'm contacting the person she was matched up with at first was Gretchen, who transitioned to Gabe. I contact Gretchen's family. I find them. I'm reaching out to ex-cult members. That's when it became really clear right away. Like, this is not healthy. This is really sick.
So I'm going to pause for everyone who has not seen this story before, and I'm just going to show you a picture of them. Oh, I always forget you can't. Yeah, okay, that's all right. Hold on. This was when she went there. It says, congratulations to the 31st Harmonious Twin Flame Union, Gretchen and Brianna. When you are declared in a harmonious twin flame union, it's something like Jeff has received the message from God that you're married. Like, you're married through the eyes of Twin Flames universe. We didn't know. We saw this and we're like, did she get married? So this was them before they transitioned. Brianna's in the dark, has the dark hair. Gretchen at the time is the blonde. So just wanted to share that with you. And now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Cop. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, Auntie, if you're going to have negative reaction to this, I'm going to block you. And I was like, you're smart, Brianna. We were trying to yell at her and to bring her back to reality. And right away, that didn't work. So Lynn and my other sisters were just love bombing her. We finally realized we had to pretend a lot. We had to fake that we were interested. Tell us what that's about. What does that mean to you? So now she's in California, and her and Gretchen are putting out all this material. And I can show you pictures of what they looked like. You know, at this time, they both look like two very attractive 24 and 25-year-olds. They look like a lesbian couple. And she would be like, I'm not a lesbian couple. She's transitioning. Quickly became clear that they didn't like each other. And that was giving us hope. That gave us a lot of hope.
Yeah.
They would put out YouTube exercises and they were talking about their journey, but they hated each other. And they announced they were in a harmonious union, which means Jeff basically married them to be soulmates together. And that was upsetting to us. So we're like, are you married? Like, we're following all of this through Facebook posts and YouTube videos. And that was really hard to see. She didn't cut off communication, but at that point, that 3 to 6 month period at the beginning, she was limiting how much she talked to us.
I just Googled Brianna and Gretchen and found some pictures.
You'll see the pictures. And then you'll see the transition. And it's shocking when Gabe transitions.
Does Gabe actually transition?
Yes.
Does a full transition?
Upper surgery was the last we knew. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So we noticed they're not getting along. And so, of course, the next step is they get to pay Jeff and Shalia for boot camp to teach them how to do their roles correctly because they're not doing it. Now, Brianna and Gretchen were very popular in this community, so they wanted them to be successful. They paired them up. They needed them. People were drawn to them. They were charismatic. So they'd let them pay, and I think it was $5,000 to go live with them for 6 months and learn. Basically, they were slaves, honestly. They did their cooking, their cleaning, free labor, free cooking. Jeff was teaching Gabe how to smoke cigars, trim his toenails. I don't know. I guess these are manly things. Shop like a man. And they were documenting it. And it was awful to watch. It was cringeworthy. So when we were watching this, Brianna called her mom and was very excited because Alice Hines was going to do a story from Vanity Fair. And so I reached out to her and I said, Alice, can you get eyes on Brianna for us? I told her who I was. She was great. She called. She said, look, I'm going in with an open mind. I'm going to assess the situation. And I said, well, here are our concerns. Can you make sure she's not being abused? Can you make sure there's no drugs? Like, we just didn't know what the heck was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pause there to add my comments. See the First Amendment, when I talk about how important journalists are in our lives and the First Amendment, Alice Hines was the only eyes that we had on Brianna for 6 months. And we felt such relief that someone was going to go in there and report on what is happening. So I have just the utmost respect for our journalists who deliver stories to us. And until you've been in the situation where you don't know what's going on, I don't know, it just opened my eyes that's going on. Hi, Bets. How are you? Thanks for joining. And someone else had put that this must be hard to relive. It is. We're in such a good place. So spoiler alert, Brianna's out. She's safe. It was a long 7 years. And if you haven't watched the documentary, I would suggest watching it with your children, especially any teenagers, young adults. I encourage you to watch either the Amazon one. I thought the Netflix one was phenomenal, featured a lot more of the families. I thought they're both really good documentaries. Yeah, it is. When I first started this channel, it was going to be I wanted to talk about the cult, but honestly, it gets overwhelming when you go back the past 7 years, and I had documented a lot of it is in messages, and you just read it and it takes you back. But imagine how my sister Lynn feels. This was her daughter, and she is so strong and she is so amazing. And she did all the right things, and she provided a soft landing to Brianna. So, and I'm sure it's hard. I saw Lynn earlier. I don't know if she's still on. I'm sure it's hard for her. And I wouldn't do this without her permission. And I check in all the time. And I say, are you okay if I do this? Are you still okay? She wants the word to get out. She wants them held accountable. She even thanked me today because I showed the Instagram picture of Jeff and Shalia ordered a Tesla this week to go with their other 7 or 8 cars, their Rolls Royce that they bought a month ago, the Porsche. So I'm just going to keep exposing the money that they're getting is insane, and they spend it like it's just going to continue to flood in. So I am just going to continue to do this, but Lynn is really the hero in this because she just never gave up.
It's awful.
Yeah. So she went in and then wrote this Vanity Fair article, and we were in touch with her ever since.
And what was the effect of the article on the group and your family and for Brianna, do you think?
It was really interesting. Brianna was so excited. Alice said she talked a lot. Gabe didn't say much. Brianna was just so the spotlight, and the buzz was like, this is going to be great. And she was like, Lynn, Mom, the article's coming out. The article's coming out. And she didn't know that I talked to Alice. And at the same time, we had actually called the police and the FBI. So
Wow.
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So we got the article and we were like, oh, this is great because it's not positive. And Brianna and other members were really excited about the article. They thought it was good until Jeff told them, this is bad. Like, and shut it down. Said no one can talk about it. No one can publicize it. No rebuttal. Don't share it. And he was mad. He was mad about the article.
It's been a while since I read it, but how did they think it was good?
I think Brianna, being a little naive, just thought like, my name's in the article about Gabe and I, and Gabe, it was more quoting Gabe. Gabe was saying things.
I'll read the article to you guys in the next cult thing. It's interesting to read it. We, as you can imagine, we were so excited to read it. And we kept hoping the police would get involved. That's the one thing that is really frustrating. It's just so slow to bring charges against people who do this to your family. And you want to see justice done quickly, and it's not quick at all. It's slow.
Like, if you talked to me 3 months ago, I would have told you I was 100% woman. This has been a great experience. Now that I know I'm truly a man, I feel it. And they just thought, that's wonderful. We're getting our story out there. We're going to be popular. And it does get you clicks, right? Negative or positive press. Jeff just felt like it was a slam against, it portrayed him as, second, he thought he was Jesus and he's crazy and he spends a lot of money, and which is all true.
Yeah, no, it portrayed him how he really is. Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you, in terms of like the trans stuff, do you think it was a conscious thing for them to kind of leverage the current zeitgeist of what's going on trans-wise and to make it a part of the community, and like, because there seems to be this kind of...
Or was it just because there's a lack of men?
Lack of men. I think it's money. I think it's money. So they will take any train, any gravy train, the next gravy train, they'll hop right on. I think that people like Brianna were getting fed up because they had stalked the people they told him to stalk, and it wasn't working. Because that's what he did initially was, if you think you have your soulmate, you just go no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're married, if they don't want to see you, they just haven't realized it yet. You have to keep at them and unblock the blocker that's there. So people were getting in trouble, right? The police were getting called. So the next thing was, it's been 2 years. These people haven't found their soulmate. You know what? Let's reverse. And 18 members transitioned. He had a vision for 18.
That's insane.
18 members. 18 members transitioned because of his vision of seeing them in a different form.
And this is all women to men?
Not all, but 80 or 90%.
I didn't realize it was so many.
That's God.
Yeah.
18 people actually transitioned, did things to their body.
At least took hormones. Not all of them
So did
do
surgeries?
something, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild. Okay. So and give us a scope, like from when she gets involved to when she leaves and drops off the dog to the article. Like, what kind of time frame are we talking about here?
So she joined, and a year and a half later dropped off the dog, and we're aware, then went to the compound 4 or 5 months later for 6 weeks.
California.
She went to live with Gabe in California, and the compound was in Michigan.
Okay. And then eventually she went to Michigan?
Yep, for 6 months, and then went back to LA.
Okay.
Went back to LA because she was kicked out, or under her
That's where her
own?
and Gretchen lived.
Okay. So it's an internship.
It was an internship that they
Yeah,
paid for, and they got
my
to
God.
spend money on it. And then the ways they made money, it was really interesting. They sell courses, and they're always creating more online courses, and they encourage you to go into debt because poverty isn't real. And if you just manifest the money, it'll be there. Don't worry about it. Just buy these courses and it'll teach you how to make money. It's a win-win for you. Then they had the Divine Dish in 2017. I might be off. It might be 16. He decided to create the church, the Twin Flames union so that it's a big tax write-off now, and everyone's volunteering their time. Brianna worked like a dog. Everyone works for him. So you work full time, and then you work and you build the website, and you create for them all. You're always working for them, and it's abusive. If you don't, no matter what you do for them, it's not enough. And at this point, they all want his love and validation. They just want to be the one that he's saying, like, good job, Brianna, you did it, And they have recordings of him because people that have left have screenshot or recorded information on him. So we've seen it. It's all out there. It's an article was published. It's not an article. It's a Canadian journalist, and her name's Avery.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
great.
We heard.
Did
we
you
saw
see
her?
her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She did a great job. We reached out to her.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
She came on my channel last Friday, and we went through her entire documentary and paused it and talked about.
Listen to me. I'm like a month and a half in. Oh, yeah, she was on my podcast last Friday. Avery's a huge deal. I didn't know it. I had no right to have her on the channel, but she's phenomenal. That is an episode you should see if you haven't seen it. The one where I had Avery on with Sister Lynn, and we reviewed her interview with Jeff and Shalea. And I laughed because she's just so awesome. And I was so inexperienced. I still am. I don't care.
What were they like? I was really curious about her interaction with him, and she said he's just so full of himself.
My favorite part of that is the cutaways to her facial reactions after the questions. She cannot hide like how she thinks about him. It's so
love
funny.
I
This is
love
my
that. And when
favorite
he
part
would,
with that dog.
he would stop and cry, and she'd be
Oh
like,
my
"Well,
God.
let's go." And he's
Let's
crying
go.
because he loves Jesus so much
Oh,
that he's
dude.
crying. So, and that was
Yeah.
a rebuttal. So he reached out to her a year after we did the Amazon. And so a little background, my family was featured in the Amazon documentary called Desperately Seeking Soulmate, Escaping Twin Flames, and we're the Boston family. And then at the same time, Netflix did one on Twin Flames. So there were two documentaries that portrayed them for what they are. They waited a year, hired a PR firm, and reached out to the Canadian journalist and said, "Will you do a rebuttal?" And she said, "I won't do I'll do a documentary, but I'm going to do it based on, the facts as I see them."
And they really still thought that they could find somebody who would do I was shocked that they let somebody like Avery,
Well, that's the
established journalist,
delusion, right?
into their home.
They called her and thanked her after it aired. They think it's good. They looked good.
They do?
They thanked her. They said, "Thank you so much for that."
Wow. It was one of the most cringy
Oh my God, it was brutal.
pieces of media I've ever seen. I mean, it was well done. I'm happy she did it. I'm just saying cringy in regards to who they
Yeah,
are.
I think people know that.
Okay, just to be clear.
They say that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Commercial.
You're not match success rate. That's why bioretinol for listeners get
A simple data nights and real health. Unlock
That's a
20%
commercial.
off in a
Berlin was really
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Now, let's dive back into the cultiverse. How are you doing during all this? Like, what's the state of affairs at home?
The state of affairs at home for Lynn was really horrific. I mean, but I will say, when you deal with this for 7 years, it becomes your new norm. And you don't tend to talk to people about it because they can't even imagine. If you told me 10 years ago that my family member would be in a cult, I would be like, "You're crazy." And I wouldn't even, I would think someone who was in a cult maybe had like, "Well, what's wrong with your family?" And when I read comments from that documentary, I do see like, well, obviously there was something wrong with Brianna. I've heard she looks autistic, which she doesn't. She's beautiful. She must be a loner. There's something wrong with the families. There isn't. You guys know this. We're normal.
No, that people
Normal
have to say that.
people.
Yeah.
They have to say that to protect themselves. My job with my YouTube channel is just to spread the word for two reasons. Number one, hopefully help a family avoid this group in the future. And number two, help build a case to bring Twin Flames universe down.
That's a good goal.
Unfortunately, we're in a situation, unless it's happened to you or someone you know, you're not really going to understand how it happens. And really, this is in the forward of our book. It's how we end the book.
We have a new book coming in.
If you think that you're not susceptible, in a lot of ways, you're advertising your blind spot.
Right.
And fortifying it by saying that, because everyone has their moment, even if it's only for like a week or whatever, where they might be susceptible to something. And then if Twin Flames comes across your feed in Google at the right time, it may be 3 months later, you don't even notice it. It just might be the right time
The right time.
when you were susceptible, and then it's off and running.
I think in Brianna's case, it was the worst case scenario. It was a vulnerable moment, but she's super strong-willed. So once she went in, she wasn't easily brought back. It was 7 years, and it was a journey. So she went to the boot camp. Now she's going back to LA to live with him. Her, at this point, it's her. Now we're into 2021. She's still in touch with us, though. She still comes home for holidays.
Well, that's good.
Still vacations in Maine with us. There was one point where we noticed it was really ramping up, that someone was trying to have her shut down. She was still on her mom's phone. She went off her mom's phone. You know, kids, my kids are in their 30s. They're still on my phone plan. That's just, I don't think that's abnormal. But she was getting off her phone plan. During the summer of 2022, she was just being kind of cagey and said, Mom, I'm going to stop home. I need all my documentation. I need my birth certificate. I need my passport. I'm coming home with Gabe. We're going to stop by. We can't stay. And I'll be there tomorrow. So Lynn calls us and we come up with a plan. We're like, don't give her shit. Don't give her we might never see her again. Don't do it. So Brianna and Gabe walk in at 8:00 Saturday morning, and the sisters are there. The aunties are there. Like everything's normal. It's so good to see you. Oh, hi, Gabe. Nice. Welcome. Open arms. No, like we're just pretending at this point. We
Right.
don't even know
Good
what
call.
we're doing. We're talking to ex-members at this point who are telling us what to do, because we just want to lock her in a room and take her to a psych ward.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I need my she didn't want to talk. It was weird. Like, she just wanted to get away from us. And we're like, Gabe, are you going to come on vacation with us? Like, tell us, why don't you stay? We'll go to lunch. They couldn't get away from us fast enough. And Lynn said, Brianna, I can't find your documents. I think they're in the bank and they're not open. Like, totally play.
Freak, I muted. Oh, I do that when I cough. That's like the third time I've done it since October. I hate that. Now I'm going to get texts from my sisters. You're muted. Okay. Can you hear me? Everyone hear me now? And I knew that would happen too, because I said, oh, I better remember to unmute. Anyways, what I was saying was, this brings back memories. Lynn, I don't think they flew. I think they drove from Michigan. No, that doesn't make sense. They must have flown in. I don't know. All I know is it was all hands on deck. Lisa and I live in the same town as Lynn. So it was Saturday morning. We went over there. We were nervous. We were love bombing them. We wanted to shake them. And they were just trying to get away from us as soon as possible. And we're hugging them and it's so great to see you. Let's go to lunch. And they couldn't wait to get away from us. And it was fleeting. And we were so afraid it was the last time we were going to see Brianna. She was asking for her passport, her birth certificate, all of her social security card, all of her, PII, and she wanted a specific white dress. And we're like, she's going to get married and we're never going to see her again. And we were scared. And we did it though. We just showed up, we smiled, we tried to get him to stay. And Lynn didn't give her anything. God love her. She was like, I think when I moved, I put them in our, the box at the bank, the PO box. And she doesn't have a PO box. She was just like, I'm not giving her documentation. So let's see what Lynn says. That morning they drove to Michigan, stayed 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, and moved to California. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you, Mom, too. You know what I realized? Mom to Nick Alley 1. I didn't do a trigger warning, but I think when you have, like, I'm going to talk about my family cult journey. That's the other thing. We're not really good about warning people ahead of time. So because it's been our life for 7 years, that we just casually will start talking about it, and I see people freaking out. So I'm trying to be better with that. But yeah, I do remember Lynn. Lynn, don't you remember that? Like it was just yesterday. And then they left, and we felt good though. We felt like, okay, they didn't get their documents. The one thing I wish I did, people will say to me, what do you wish you did differently? First of all, I wish I joined with her. I wish I joined. I'm in cybersecurity. I should see what this is about. But she's 24, 25. I don't even know what my kids are doing online. Who would when they're adults? But I do wish I joined. I wish, and the cult consultant that Lynn hired told us to download all of their YouTube videos, because at the time they were doing YouTube lives all the time, or pre-recorded videos of their journey. And I wish I downloaded. I didn't. I should have. And now they canceled. I don't know if they ended, all of a sudden they were just gone. So I don't know if those are something they can get back, or if they're gone forever. I have a feeling they're gone forever. But I wish I had them. So they would actually videotape, and they fought all the time. If I showed you what those YouTube videos were like, that gave us so much hope, because they hated each other. They would fight. They'd be like, we had a terrible night. Gretchen's not doing a good job being a meal, so we're going to spend time with Jeff. They would videotape them trying to buy masculine clothes. I mean, it sounds so crazy. Here are the text messages. You're muted. You're muted. I know. Thank you, everyone. Everyone's looking out for me. Good thing I read the chat, or I'd still be talking, being like, oh, no one can hear me. Not to mention my mic is color coded, so I should see the red. But okay, I digress. Let's go back. What were we talking about?
Made it well. So because we knew if she got her birth certificate and passport, we would not see her again. And so they left, and she took a dress too, and it was a white dress. And we're like, there's a wedding. Something's happening. We felt it ramping up. And then that's 2022. By February, Brianna came home and kind of had a little bit of a breakdown. She said, Mom, I need to come home. She came home alone and just said, what am I doing with Gabe? Gabe's a woman. She's a woman. I hate her. I hate LA. I hate being there. I hate everything about it. And we were like, oh, thank God. And we just embraced her, and we took her with us everywhere, but she was always crying, shaking, having the dry heaves. She wasn't well. She just wasn't well. And we didn't know what to do. For 6 weeks, we were like, come on, we're going to have coffee. We're doing this. And then after 6 weeks, they just kept dragging her back and dragging her back. And all of a sudden in March, from February to March, she was a mess. And then she lost her job because she wasn't showing up, as you can imagine. And she, in March, said, I'm going back to LA. Jeff told me that I'm just going through a block, and I really do need to finish this. I started it. I have to finish it. And we were like, you're not going back. So she bought a ticket, didn't get on that flight. The next day, bought another ticket, didn't get on that flight. It took 4 tickets. And the 4th day, her mama called and said she got on the flight. And
we were so devastated. So picture this. She's been home now for almost 2 or 3 months, crying. She hates the cult. And now all of a sudden she's going back. And Lynn would call and say she bought a ticket, but she didn't get on the plane. We're like, yes, yes. And then the 4th time she did, and she went out there. But I think we kind of knew it. I mean, it's easy to look back and say this. We were devastated. I'm not gonna lie. We were devastated, and you just have to kind of go on with your life. But we kept thinking she's not happy. But at this point, she also wasn't healthy. She just mentally was having a lot of, crying a lot. And when you're not happy, it stresses you out.
Devastated. We were just, at that point, we had hired a cult consultant, which cost thousands of dollars. I mean, It was very expensive, and we didn't know what to do. We were all just devastated.
God.
What did the consultant say? What worked, what didn't?
The consultant gave us some really good advice in terms of, honestly, if I'm being honest, I was always like 3 steps ahead of the consultant just because of my cybersecurity background. So I was like showing up with names of Gabe's relatives, with places where they've worked, stuff that Jeff and Shalia have been doing. He wasn't focused in the details. He was focused on why she joined.
Truth bomb. Lynn's nervous right now. I'm gonna have a truth moment. So because this is the second time we're hearing this, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not like the consultant. The consultant did not like me. We would fight. Lynn, God bless Lynn, because it was her time, it was her money, but I had her best interest at heart. He did help us. Lynn, I won't go in, I won't say his name. I hope I don't say it on this. I don't think I do. We just had a different approach. And I just felt like, the twins also. I don't know. I don't know let's see. The twins also, so sad. I was very, I was disappointed in the consultant. I thought he could do more. I would show up and be like, look at what I found out. I've contacted the family. I've done this, I've done that. And he would just be selling his book. But he did help her with the foundation. I will say that. I won't say anything else. She's going to yell at me. We fought.
Where he helped us is what her state of mind is and things not to do. Like he encouraged us to be a safe landing always. So he said, always love her to death because they're not loving her. They're abusing her. Don't abuse her. Don't yell. Don't make judgment calls. This isn't her fault. That was really helpful.
That is good. Yeah.
I feel like I said something bad. I didn't mean to about the consultant. It's just that
No,
I wanted
fine.
more detail. I wanted more.
You want an action plan.
I want an action plan. And he wanted us to spend a lot of money on a workshop for a weekend. We wanted him to go get her and bring her back. Like, we don't know how it works.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No. And also, I mean, part of me would want revenge. That whole thing of someone messing with my daughter in the arrogant way that he does it and violating the boundaries of my family's home would just really just grind my gears. To me, that's the most.
That doesn't come into play for me until after she's home safe and I start going through doing my channel and I'm rereading all of our texts and going through everything. And then I get mad. You get to a point where you're just so desperate to get her home. So she goes back and she's trying to make it work, but we never gave up. We just, you know what you do? You just go back to life. You just go back to your busy life and you're hoping at that point, because she is a grown-up too. So when I called the police, they went and checked on her and they're like, we've had calls, we talked to her, she wants to be there. They ask her, are you here on your own free will? Yeah, I want to be here. And then they directed me to call the FBI. So I called the FBI in Michigan, and we're still in contact, but they don't give me information. I just give them information. That's how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, by being in contact, I am always sending them my shows. I sent them this. I send them pictures, but I don't get anything in return. So we being collaborative is me hounding them.
We'll get to the FBI in a little bit.
She goes back to California in March, and now we're involved in the documentary, and I give her mother a lot of credit because she said, yeah, let's do it. That's our way. That was her way of getting them. She goes, let's put our story out there. Whether she comes back or not, I don't want this to happen to other families. I want to get this out in the public. So we're filming the documentary in November of 2022. And as it is that week, she called Lynn and said, I want to come home. I want to escape. I don't want anyone to know. I need a ticket. I need to quietly send some stuff home. She ended up she has 2 dogs. She left in the middle of the night with the 2 dogs, took her car and went to the airport and didn't tell Gabe. Gabe was sleeping and flew home the day we were filming the documentary. And we couldn't tell the people in the documentary, like no one knew that she was coming home. Plus, we needed to make sure she was home for good. So once she came home, November of 2022, she came home and was a complete mess. She just was a shell of herself and decided, I'm not supposed to be with Gabe. Like, this is so wrong. But I am so committed to these people and to my community. I'm not going to leave because I think I can fix it. It's Jeff and Shalia, and I know who the problem people are. So I'm going to stay in it. And that wasn't healthy because they were stripping away all of her duties until she was going to go back to Gabe. They were charging her money. It was such an abusive relationship at that point, but she actually didn't completely get out of the cult until this August of this past year.
Okay, so after she came home, she was not with Gabe, but she was still like engaging online.
Yeah, still engaging online, still talking to people, still knee-deep doing work, giving money. Yeah. So yeah, still involved with it and doing the recipe. Biggest thing for us was when she gave up the divine dish. And that was just over the summer.
Because that was her project?
No, it was just that she was dedicated to eating the food that they told her to.
That's how so she paid for the recipes.
Wow.
Does she know that Chat GTP can make her really good free recipes? now?
It's just this thing. Yeah, she does. She does know that. So even this past summer on vacation where we go, she was still not, she was paranoid at this point. She was like, Auntie, I want to talk to you, but I don't want to talk. Leave our cell phones, let's go outside. She was convinced, and she still is a little bit, that they're always listening. And they know, like, they had this power over her where they were, if there's a room where there's, smart devices, she wouldn't talk. She just thought they were always listening.
Just so interesting the way that, like, people look at our situation with Vanguard and they laugh that, like, he could have had any sway over any of us. And the way that we probably look at, like, Jeff and Shalala, like, they're just, you know what I mean? And I judge, and fully aware that people judge how we were swayed. You know what I mean?
Judge too. I judge too.
Like, he just seems like such a dweeby con man to me, in my opinion.
Such a dweeby. I mean, that's not even their real names. Like, they're not even Jeff and Shalia. Their names are something else, and they have nothing to do with their families. I mean, all red flags for normal people, but not people that get sucked in.
How did she finally figure it out? Like, what was the final straw? Do you know?
I want to say that it was, first of all, it really was always having a safe landing for her. She just always was surrounded by love. I know her mother, she did move out, and her mother said, you are always welcome back into my home, but the cult never is. So you will never bring your laptop. Like, you will not do online stuff. And she was still, so she moved out. I think the biggest thing was she started to get back into socializing with other people. She wasn't doing that. She was only socializing with people who were members. As soon as she opened up her community to other people and her peers, we just noticed the difference in her. I just spent Thanksgiving with her. She's completely Brianna. She's singing. She's great. And she knows I'm doing these podcasts, and she's happy. She's like, definitely do it. I can't talk about it. I can't watch, Auntie. I'm not going to watch, but I want you to do it, because she knows that it was really disrupt. She says, I can't believe I spent that much money. I think it was hard to admit. It was hard to admit that she spent the money. She wasted 7 years, that people were right.
Yeah. No, it's easy to be fooled. It's hard to convince people that they've been fooled. And that's kind of where
hard.
The pride comes in. Well, what was her last communication with them?
I didn't ask. Yeah.
So she's no longer in.
I since know this because I asked Lynn. Lynn knew. I didn't know that. That was a good question. I probably should have been better prepared. Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong. Her last communication, I think. So remember, if you go back to the Avery Haynes interview, we spent some time on Chrissy. I think it's Chrissy. She's like a high-level vice president who came up with the Twin Flames universe. I think she's their CFO. I think. I'm pretty sure. And they put her over Brianna as a coach, because they were constantly, as a matter of fact, they're still trying to get her back with Gabe. I think she's cut off all communication so they can't reach her, but she got off social media. She's done all the right things to protect herself. But Chrissy was pressuring her to get back with Gabe right up till the end. And she just got sick of it. So they pushed her too far.
In touch with them, though, you know that
not
for sure?
At all. Yep.
Okay.
And we know that because she told her mother. She just said, "I'm so," like, all of a sudden, one day she said, "That was crazy. Like, they're so awful. I have nothing to do with them." Like, she was done.
She watched the docs.
So what happened when we knew the documentary was coming out? All of the aunties that were in it, took her out. We had coffee with her, and we just told her. She was home at that point, and a lot of tears. She understood. She was so great. She's like, I totally know you're doing it because you love me. And she kept having mini breakdowns. But what you guys don't understand is how powerful it is to be part of this. And I can't imagine life without it, even though I know it's bad. And I'm glad. So she was okay with it. They told her not to watch it. They were really mad that we did the documentary. And they told her she couldn't watch it, but she told me she did watch it.
They being Jeff and Layla.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or I don't know if it was, her coach was Chrissy, who was one of the second in commands. Chrissy and Jason, they're a powerful couple in the group. I don't know who told her.
I don't remember them. I remember Keely and, it's been a while now since we deep dived onto Twin Flames, but
Chrissy came up with the mind alignment program.
Oh, okay. You know what we never talked about, which we have talked about in our other episodes with Alice Hines and with Keely, is the mirror exercise. Do you remember that, Nip?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for those of you who wish to go back to listen to the first one, I think I did my version of the mirror exercise with terrible British accent because I just thought it was not, I wasn't trying to make fun of it, but I was trying to show how ridiculous it is when you understand from a psychological level, you're essentially making gaslighting into an exercise where everything that you're upset about comes immediately back to you and how you are broken or a failure or not doing something right in your life. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's Catholic guilt. That's what I call it.
Yeah,
When
original saying.
Rihanna kept telling us, just do it, but blame yourself. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds familiar.
I've seen this before. Yeah.
I've seen this movie. Yeah. So the mirror, she would do the mirror exercise all the time. It would drive us crazy. We were like, that's not how it works.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah, we had our version of the mirror exercise too. I think most cults have some similar template to make that type of gaslighting part of the system. So it's like a thing.
Was there any fallout from Jeff and Shalay though?
Did they sue Lynn, your sister?
They did not sue Lynn. They did sue a bunch of the moms. So
Okay.
we are, and I actually had a mom on my channel 3 weeks ago, Paula Cole. Paula's daughter joined Twin Flames and she never heard or saw from her again. She doesn't know what country she's in. She doesn't know, 6 years, has not heard. And she's a twin. So Stephanie is the woman that joined, and oh my gosh, I'm escaping the twins' name, but they miss her terribly. And I had her on and she's very vocal and she was sued. It cost her $30,000 to just show up at court and have it thrown out. I mean, I wish she didn't even pay because she probably could have just had it thrown out, but she was scared and she was sued for being vocal and going out against everything.
That probably wouldn't even happen now because
By the way, I screwed that up. It wasn't Paula and Stephanie are the twins. Louise Cole is the mother. I don't know. I didn't have anything written down, and I never do. I just kind of was going off the top of my head. I messed all their names up, but love you, Louise. Love that she was on my show. She was probably like the second or third episode I did was with Louise. You should listen to it if you haven't. She is like she speaks from the heart about what it's been like for her daughter. She's had no contact and she doesn't know what country she lives in. Last she heard, she was matched up with a man trapped in a woman's body in Switzerland, hasn't had any contact, doesn't know if she's alive or where.
there's so much on the offensive. Do you
I think so. Oh, she was
Yeah.
in the Vice article, and they
Oh, was
sued
she?
all the mothers that were in the Vice article and told their story. And that's all they did was tell their story.
They used to be very
Just trying to
litigious.
Rocket
Skip
like
this.
a lot of her information the next. So that's why I don't think they really care about the trans.
Yeah, they used to be really litigious and they used to sue everybody, but I think it just got too costly and they kept losing.
About whether they do the trans thing for a specific reason. And I said it's a moneymaker. Their next moneymaker that they've moved on to is, I don't know if you've seen, is that Jeff, through ChatGPT, thank goodness, Jeff can diagnose and cure autism. So Shalaya has autism.
Wow.
Shalaya has autism. Chrissy and Jason have autism,
I did
but
see
he's
that
curing
announcement.
them.
Mhm.
He's curing them. So that thankfully, so that they just jump on whatever the next. So that's why I don't think they really care about the trans movement or took advantage of it. It was like a means to make soulmates and make money together. So I'm trying to get in touch with Keely. I want to have Keely on. A lot of her information helps the raid. There was the FBI
It's a raid, yeah.
So what happened was they decided to build a community, and they currently have 16 couples living. I don't know what it looks like. I guess they bought houses. Gabe moved to Michigan. Gabe's in Michigan. 16 couples. And the FBI did raid, I think it was in July, and they took hard drives, laptops, computers. The DA is building a case. I reached out to the DA, sent her my channel. They wanted to talk to Brianna. It was too early. I don't think Brianna was in the state of mind to help. She will, though. She will definitely help build the case against them. It's going to have to be around labor laws and tax evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. Like in terms of, you even have Jeff on tape saying, we're going to make ourselves a church so that we don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
Right?
Hello. He's on tape saying that. I mean,
Well, our legal system doesn't have precedents for emotional abuse and coercion. So you have to get them on labor laws and actually things that you can have forensics and intel to cite.
and neither does our medical community. Like, no one could help us with we actually took Brianna to the doctor and told them what was going. They were no help at all. They were like, what? Like when she was home with us and willing to go and they
Yeah.
they didn't
What
know
would you
to do.
say? Like, how could you say that she has PTSD? Like, what would the claim be?
We just took them in. We were hoping they would say she probably should go to a psych ward for some time, because that's the direction we were heading in.
If you think about it, like most people have been coerced. So in order to have some sort of standard and practice for coercion, you would have to admit that like, hey, maybe I've been coerced, which most people aren't willing to do. And it's hard to come up with a certain standard and practice of, someone's intent, number one, right? To coerce. Some people don't even know they're being coerced or even being coerced.
Oh, Kristen, I see your question. I don't think Gabe has another partner. I think Gabe truly believes that Brianna was his partner. I'm going to check out Gabe. Gabe has a YouTube channel that I follow because I just kind of keep tabs on him. We could take a peek at that later. And then there was one other question. Oh, what year? It was just last June or July, the FBI in Michigan. Oh, was it the FBI? I don't know. Yeah, it was the FBI. They raided them and took the hard drives and some other things from their house.
Or doing the coercion because it's been so normalized. We have a lot of that going on in our culture and society, and the behaviors of coercion aren't exactly obvious. So you take someone to diagnosis with it, it's a very hard thing to diagnose because you also have to get someone to be emotionally honest about how they were coerced. So it's complex.
It's hard to see. It's hard to diagnose. It's hard to see. We were just looking for help. We did find a therapist who was phenomenal. The documentary offered her up to us for Brianna for a year, and she was so helpful. That was really good.
Was
Yeah.
it Rachel Bernstein?
It was, yeah. It was great.
Great.
She knows what she's looking at. Yeah. First of all, the FBI had no idea what they were looking at, which fair
None.
enough. They're
Yeah.
more like, physical crimes. And it takes a good therapist to understand what they're looking at as well. So hopefully we're moving that needle a little bit.
We didn't talk about the mind alignment program. That really messed up Brianna. So what they do is they create trauma in your past life so that you're
Yeah.
bonded to them. They had a really hard time with Brianna because we kind of had a good life. So they told her in World War II, her ancestors went through a lot of trauma that was manifesting in her. And we were like, what? So that's how far back they went with her. And the mind alignment program is like the mirror exercise on steroids. And they just kind of get you in a meditative state, talk about the trauma, and you pay for it. You're a mess afterwards. I do feel like it took its toll mentally on her. And that was one of the reasons she was staying, was as soon as she started doing the mind alignment, we just saw her personality kind of change a little bit.
Was it like meditations? How are they bringing people back to the past? I'm just curious. I'm just so curious what they were doing.
I don't know the details. I'll have to ask her someday. I didn't want to ever talk about it because I just have no tolerance for this bullshit.
I know.
It's so infuriating.
It's so infuriating. But she would start to do it to her cousins a little bit, like, Maddie, that's because so and so in our lives, they would just, you weren't held when you were a baby. That's what they're telling me. And then of course, Maddie's mother, my sister, was so mad. I held her plenty. Like, they just make things
I
up.
have photos.
You can't try to put logic. And I was saying to Lisa, you can't get mad at her. Like, this is just crazy talk. So I think they get you in a meditative state and they plant seeds, and because anything they can do to make you not, and that's why it's important if you're going through this to be a safe landing, because they're trying to destroy your relationship. Because if you don't have someone to go home to, Gabe didn't have anyone doing that. I finally got in touch with Gabe's brother, but he was only 21 at the time, and I was a lot for him. He was like, "Well, how'd you find me? What?
Who are you?"
And then he goes, "Yeah, it's strange, but like they didn't want any." They didn't want to intervene.
Yeah.
They didn't want to intervene.
By the way, we had Rachel on as a guest, and we did a whole lot.
listened.
Oh,
She was
you?
great.
Yeah. And that's definitely the point that she taught us, and it's in our book as well, is be a safe place to land. Just keep that lifeline.
Well, that was the biggest thing for us. We had mixed reactions to our exit, but it was mostly a safe place to land. And
mostly welcome back.
Yeah.
A few I told you so's.
Yeah. But fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My husband has a hard time with this. I'll be honest with you. My husband has a hard time.
What's his take?
She knew better. Like, I'm going to kill those. Sort of what Dippy was saying. Like, I'm just going to kill him. Like,
we're protectors. We're our impulses are like.
He
this
couldn't
is
watch
bullshit.
the documentary.
He still hasn't watched the documentary. It's very triggering for him because of the love that he has for Brianna and how protective he was. He would just be angry all the time. So he He does not watch it. Everyone deals with trauma differently.
Gets too upset.
So do I. Yeah.
Yeah. So having a safe landing sounds easy and logical, but we had to be told to do it. We had to
Yeah.
be told, first of all. Didn't even occur
It's not
to
your
us.
instinct. Yeah.
No.
It's definitely not your instinct. So you've been through hell and back with Brianna. I'm so relieved that she got out. It's so interesting knowing you, virtually since you reached out so many years ago. I remember where I was standing in my apartment back in Vancouver when you called. It's so funny when you could remember something like that. And I remember trying to give you as best advice as I could about Brianna, but obviously I don't know her. And then I get to meet her virtually again in the dock. And now knowing that she's out is just such a relief.
And
Victory.
she's lucky
Victory.
to have the family that she came from.
Yeah. So lucky.
I don't think you know how important that phone call was to me, because we had just watched the documentary, I think, too,
The Vow.
on HBO. The Vow. And I thought, I found your Instagram, I think, first. And I thought, I was just reaching out to everyone. And the fact that you were like, absolutely, I'll talk to you, meant so much to me. And I hope to do that. I want
You
to pay
already
it
are.
forward and do that for other people. And the ex-members have been so helpful to me.
I think there's a future where we sit around where this is over, they're brought to justice, and everyone's healed, and hopefully that's soon.
They need to be in jail.
They're both
They need
diabolical.
to be in jail. I think the thing that used to get me so angry was their shopping trips. So I would watch them go shopping and spend thousands and thousands on
The yellow Porsche.
Name brand, everything, the pocketbooks, the shoes, it's one thing to take people's money, but then to flash it like that was shocking to me. It was shocking. The whole, bought a beautiful house, but then renovated the whole thing. I mean, I was in deep. I was watching hours and hours of their content. It's such a relief not to be doing that now. And then the whole time they were trying to conceive, that was a weird thing as well, too. I mean, everything they do is really weird. And now they have a daughter, and the daughter's going to be in a harmonious union with only them and God. I mean,
Hope Child Services checks that out.
Yeah, I do too.
So you've really been, through this with her as an anchor and giving the soft place to land. What would you say, now that you know what you know, is the big learning in terms of what were the red flags you missed from the early on, do you think?
So if someone today told me, if someone close in my family said, hey, I'm so excited, I have this new community that I'm joining or I'm part of, I'm really excited, I'm all in, I'm investigating, I might join it. I did nothing. I didn't even ask her the name of she was 24. She was an adult. I didn't do anything. I would listen more, and the first red flag, I would just swoop in and join it with her. That sounds great. I'm going to join. I want to be in it with you. One member's mother did that, and it saved that member's life.
So because she joined and then was able to show her what was problematic about it, or how did she do it?
Together, they were able to see it. She never pointed it out. She just joined and was like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then they would talk about it. And then she was just able to bring the reality of how crazy it was. And that person I talked to a lot when she got out, and she helped me a lot too. But she said, I'm so grateful my mother joined, because we just were able to see.
Cheryl, my mom joined, took some classes, mostly just to make sure I was okay, but also fell asleep through most of it.
Yeah, she was asleep most of the time.
So I was like, well, you're not doing the work. You don't really know.
She was bored. I'd like to ask you, what do you recommend we do for Brianna now? Because she's so freshly out, and we feel really good that she is truly out, because she is denouncing them and she's back to her own self. She's dating. She's doing all the things.
You said she loves music, right?
Loves music. She's a singer.
I would get her to go deep into something that she knows and she loves, and that she can have a relationship where she's actually having an interface with something, that she loves and that she can control and ground herself in. To me, that's in nature.
That's great advice.
There's actually a couple podcasts that I recommend. I'm blanking on what it's called right now, but I'll put it in the show notes and send it to you. But it's about art as therapy post-cult, in terms of helping you using art, and in this case, music. But definitely we'll send you our book for her, because I think there's a whole chapter on healing, and we cover therapy and education and maybe just in nature.
That was Stephen Hassan's advice. Find something you love to do and remind yourself of it. Yeah. I think that was a Stephen
Yep.
Austin
I think
bit.
so too.
Yep.
We have a lot of different little things in there that different people have shared with us, but I would say, it just really depends on the person. You just got to gauge it, because for us, self-education, like watching the other documentaries, Blood Country.
Aren't they nice? They're so nice. Put any questions you have. Well, there's just 5 minutes left. Hi, Zach. Thank you for popping in. You've probably seen this already, but we being me, I wanted to give the people that are new to the channel an update on why we started this channel initially. And I know you were here from the beginning. I did see a couple of questions. And again, put any questions, anything at all. Nothing's off limits. I saw someone ask how many members. That's really hard to figure out because they are a private organization. They claim to have, and they do actually have like hundreds of thousands on their Facebook community page. I tend to think they have closer to like 2,000 members, but I don't know the exact number. And it's also an MLM, right? It's definitely an MLM model where they need a feeder system and they keep, churning and burning the revenue. They keep adding more courses. People go in, they dip their toes, they may leave. They ask them to bring people in. Hey, we need 3 more of your friends to join. Why don't you have your family members join? So you never really know. And the cult that Sarah and Nippy were in is called Nexium, Nxivm, Nexium. I think that's how you spell it. The documentary, that's really good. It walks through how, that was the oh my God, is it Keith Raniere's cult? He was crazy. He actually branded the women with a hot iron. He was insane. Sarah was the key whistleblower. She was also the key person who was recruiting everyone. Super nice and has a lot of guilt from that. Okay, I'll go back 5 minutes.
Although there's problems with that, but Buddha Field, Going Clear, The Vow, like watching things that aren't her cult, I think if she's open to it, can be really impactful, because the template's the same, the process of abuse is the same, all the tactics are the same, and they can go, oh, that's what happened to me.
It'll humanize her own experience.
Yeah.
You know what? When The Vow came out, she watched it with other members and they were like, oh, that's so different. That's not seeing people say work. Like she didn't see it. We saw the similarities. We were like, oh, this will be great. She's going to see it and she's going to identify with it. She didn't at the time, but I will recommend that maybe she go back and revisit that now.
Yeah, she wants to have a conversation with us, not on the podcast, just in general.
Thank you. Thank you. As soon as she's ready, I will make sure she has the bridge to anyone who's willing to help her.
The biggest thing that we tried to debunk is it's not an intelligence thing.
Yeah, that's annoying. I hear that. Did you feel like it was your fault? Because that's what I want people to know. Like, that's the one thing Paula on my podcast was saying. I said, what would you say to your daughter if she could hear you? She's like, it's not her fault. Like, we would love you. But I'm afraid that Brianna might think it's her fault.
I think with time, she'll figure that out. I never felt it was my fault. Like, I just felt like I bet on something wrong and I was making decisions on a false premise, and a false premise that a lot of other people could see. And I was arrogant in my dismissal. I call it, I was confidently stupid.
So that's Nippy. Nippy and Sarah are married. I wanted to also just mention, you might know the Nexium cult. Again, it's Nxivm, because Allison Mack, who is an actress, I think she was in a TV, Smallville. She was in Smallville, and she was deeply involved in the cult, and her mother went through hell and high water to get her out. So that's also a key part of the story, and you see a lot of The Vow through her. I forget her mother's name, but she was amazing. So just Allison Mack was part of that cult, just so you know.
In my pursuit of it, and I don't ever begrudge myself for the reasons that I got behind what I did, because I did it for what I thought were noble purposes, until it was revealed to me that they weren't. And then I made the pivot. So, and if you don't have to look far to see a lot of smart people making bad decisions on a false premise.
Ain't that true?
That's going on at a rampant clip right now, right? So it's a very human thing. Everyone's susceptible, and we're living in a time where it's rampant because of social media.
Your cult is
It's disbanded, but there are a handful of people who are still loyal to Keith and think that we had got it wrong.
They're pretending.
Okay. I'm wondering if Brianna, there was one woman in Israel that she was super, super close with. And I wonder if she's still, I think I'll check in with her and see if she's still in communication with her. And I could see that she would be to try to get her out, but I wouldn't want the reverse to happen.
You know, the fault thing is interesting because, and we also talk about this in the book, is that it is important at some point to embrace or like understand what was going on for you or
Where
her
you were susceptible
individually. Yeah, what made you susceptible, which is different than being your fault. You know, like for me, one of my susceptibilities, I mean, there's the obvious things like looking for community and purpose and meaning and answering life's big questions. Like that almost is for everybody. But for me personally, needing to feel special and what the Stripe path gave.
That was Brianna.
Yeah, validation.
She wanted validation.
Getting the gold star, the Stripe path of within NXIVM gave me something like, well, if I do this and this, and I'll get the little crumb or the gold star. And that it's important to know it's normal. It's not a flaw. It's a very human quality. But to understand it, and so you can like learn to heal it, because otherwise one tends to join other things and cult hop. So that's really the advice that I can share with you. But I'm happy. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask us since we're talking before we wrap up?
Are you still in touch with people who were part of that community?
Not a ton. The people that I was close with before and the good, the solid relationships I made during, the people who like were my actual friends, not cult friends, I'm still in touch with. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah.
No, I worry, I guess, about any PTSD she'll have in the future.
PTSD is real, and it takes, everyone's got their own timeline. There's no like, oh, it should be here, then you don't have PTSD. And there's, our even interactions with that has been completely different. And I think I'm over it. And then something else happens and I get another hit. But there's things, you can do, like help her just do things to regulate her nervous system, whether that's nature, yoga.
Okay, you are right. Who am I thinking of semantics? So I always think it's Allison Mack. She was in NXIVM, but she went to prison, right? Because she was his second wing, or she was prosecuted. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. It was Catherine Oxenberg's daughter, and I don't remember her name. It might be, what was it? I don't remember, but it was. And she was a big focus of the vow, though. Catherine was. She hired a consultant. There were a lot of similarities, and we identified with her. But you're right. But so there was the vow had a lot of interesting perspectives.
For me, I take a hot bath with Epsom salts every night. That's like my routine. I have a lot of routines. That helps me. But everyone has their own set of things. And have her try them.
It's hard. She's an adult, but we want to make sure that she has the connection for that.
How old is she now?
She just had her birthday last week. She's 33.
Well, in my opinion, 24 is not an adult. Maybe 30, maybe 33 is, but there's a being age adult and then there's actual adult.
Well, and she's lucky to have you.
Yeah, she's so lucky.
Her family.
Yeah, she's lucky to have her family. The whole family was just great. Lynn did a great job assembling. Even we even called her college roommate who had no idea what was going on. We got a good virtual team of people that had different roles to reach out to her at different points to, make sure that we were constantly staying connected to her. Crazy that you think you have to do that.
Well, Jeff and Shalala didn't have a chance in a lot of ways because you guys were doing what you were doing. And they didn't know that probably. So
no.
If they happen to be listening to this, what would you want them to know?
You didn't get Brianna. But listen, I'm a huge believer in karma. So you will get yours. You will get yours.
Yes,
yeah. And anything I could do, more importantly than Jeff and Shalia, if there's anyone out there who's part of Twin Flames Universe or part of the family, reach out to me. Cyberchick Boston is my YouTube channel. Reach out to me. You can feel free to put my email in the show notes. I want to be the support system for you that the other ex-members were for my family.
That's the key takeaway. That's the end of it. That's the key takeaway. Anyone out there that's going through this, feel free to reach out to me. I have it in my description, but people don't realize that it's there. So I'm going to put my email. Feel free to reach out to me if you or your family member is in a cult, if you have any information on Twin Flames Universe, if you need support. I can't emphasize enough how much the community, the X community helped me. I mean, I look back over the 7 years and 6 months would go by and someone would check in and I feel such relief that I could ask them questions because it's all new territory for us. So this is not the same as Scientology. Scientology is another disgusting cult and we shouldn't be tolerating it as much as we do just because there's famous celebrities. This is a different one, Twin Flames Universe it's called. It's different. That was fun. Anyone have any other questions on that before we shift gears into a lighter topic and touch base on the war? That's not funny, Cheryl. What the hell? Look at my face. I had a facial yesterday. I went for a hydroderm where it's really cool. They use this machine. I put it in someone's chat last night. It's like, and this is how they describe it. It's going to feel like a cat with an aggressive tongue licking your face. And so the entire time they're doing it, that's all I could picture is a cat, but I got a little redness from it. So it's abrasion and then it's good. It's a really deep exfoliating. Let's see. It looks like she has a documentary. Allison. Oh, we should watch that. Lenny, we should watch that. I didn't know they had a follow-up documentary. So now we're going to switch gears. And we woke up at war. So I'm following the Epstein files, and I'm not a political channel. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a journalist, but I am interested in what's going on in the world. So as Prince of Wales, Zach, he's like, I can't take this anymore. Oh, it's a podcast. I should look it up. That's so funny. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Random Broad. No, it's just a little, I can see it's a little red and sensitive. But what did I do to cure it? I don't have the products here, but I'll pretend I do. I used Bay Harbor Beauty's gel moisturizer, water hydrating. It's fabulous. And the eye cream. Oh my God, it's so good. Zach, I will deny being, okay. So let's talk about the war. So let's just be inquisitive. We went to war. We didn't get Congress approval, which is unconstitutional. So that bothers me. But let's talk about Iran. The regime in Iran is like one of the worst in the world. It's horrific. So, but do we fix it? I don't know. What do we know about the Ayatollah? We know that they have a horrible women's right in the control that they have, including, killing. Who did they kill? Masha Amini, the woman, just to symbolize like that you can't go against their laws of covering up a woman, and they have no freedom. Women have no freedom over there. And one of the interesting things, and I'm just curious what everyone thinks, and we're going to, of course, go listen to Aaron because I love my new journalist. I've been really doing a deep dive on him. I think from what I can gather, and this is my lighter topic. Well, I have to figure out what's going on. So if I'm going to figure it out, you guys can come along for the ride, right? We have to find a journalist. Do I not talk about how important accurate reporting is and finding someone who you trust? The First Amendment is so critical. But we're the citizens. We make up, the US Constitution is representatives who are supposed to protect us. And if we didn't vote for this war, I have concerns about that. And if we're not all in DC today, after we've declared war, I have concerns about that. So, but I don't like the Iran regime, and something needs to be done. But what is the end game? Who do we want in control? Will there be the changes? And I come at this from having very close friends who have escaped Iran. I follow a woman, Mashish Alanjad, and I'm sure I'm butchering your name, and I apologize. I've been following her for years, and she's an outspoken, powerful Iranian. They tried to kill her. They tried to imprison her. She's half the time she's in hiding. She is in America. So I follow her. So I just like education. I like to speak about it. I think what I gathered is that Trump is concerned about nuclear weapons. But the funny thing is, which isn't so funny, is the JCPOA, the Joint Commission of Plan of Attack, whatever that is, that they, China and Russia and France and the UK and the United States formulated in 2015 was disbanded by Trump in 2018, saying we don't need to worry about Iran's nuclear. And now we're going to war. So about their nuclear. So I'm like, wait, what is happening? So anyways, that was a long intro. And is anyone still there? Did you guys hang up because I started rambling about Iran? You think that this is really good for us to talk about it. You think that Iranian people should get to decide who's in control. But in order to do that, right, we have to get rid of their current regime because they'll never give them any freedoms. Okay, so we're gonna go visit Aaron. Oh, first, you know what? I saw something. I love Aaron. And the more that I've found out about him, hold on, I'm just gonna because I have a couple of things that I want to watch from him. It would have been good, Cheryl, if you teed this up ahead of time. He did a 8-minute video on, hold on, I'll just find it, on who he is. So Aaron, he's brilliant. Panaras, is that how you say his name? Let me see, my father. I didn't know who his father was, so this made it really interesting as far as I'm concerned. This is my story. Yep, okay, we're gonna watch this. So, not yet, Aaron, not yet. This is Aaron that I showed you of. What I know about Aaron, give me 2 seconds. First of all, he's only 26. Hello. So I don't know if he's looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but I've got nieces, okay? And he's brilliant. He comes from Ukraine. He was born and raised in Florida, so he's the son of someone in the Ukrainian world who we're going to get to know his father right now, who was involved heavily with Trump and the Ukraine scandal. And we're going to talk about this, but he's brilliant. He started college at 14. He has a BA in political science and criminal justice. He has been a lawyer. Now he also went to law school with honors, George Washington Law School. I mean, he's very smart, and he is of Jewish Ukrainian descent and worked at law firms from age 20 to 25 and has kind of shifted into a journalist and has a huge, huge following. He initially identified as a Republican in his youth, but he's slowly becoming more independent. I like that about him. I like someone who's willing to hurdle the fence and straddle the fence. So he also was named to Forbes 30 under 30 for his influence in digital media and journalism. Oh, let's look. It says his personal life. Lives in DC, doesn't say if he's married or what his preference is. So, okay, side note, girls out there, nieces, I like him. He's approved. Okay. That being said, my microphone's always in my way. Okay. Oh, who caught a big snapper? Zach did. Of course he did. Okay, so we're going to listen to him talk about his father. I found this really interesting. And I think that part of the First Amendment is finding the people that you trust, but learning about their background, because it tells you the journey of how they got here. I don't know. I'll stop talking now. Let's get to know Aaron. You guys would be impressed if you know how many buttons we have to press to do this.
Prosecuted, sentenced to 20 months. And
Hold on, gotta start.
my father was indicted, prosecuted, sentenced to 20 months in federal prison, and worked closely with Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani to find dirt on Hunter and Joe Biden in Ukraine to help Donald Trump win re-election in 2020. Yes, my dad is Lev Parnas, and I have never hidden that fact. But I wanted to come to you and open up about the hardest day of my life, October 10th, 2019. It's the day he was arrested. See, at the time, I was a third-year law student. People know about my backstory. I actually graduated college when I was 18, started when I was 14, went straight to law school at the George Washington University Law School in DC, graduating when I turned 21. But when my father was arrested, I was 20 years old. It was October of 2019. I was in my third year of law school, and I was preparing to go to a law firm to practice law because that was my dream. My father had his connections with Rudy Giuliani, with Donald Trump. They were working. I had nothing to do with it, had no knowledge of what was happening. In fact, the only time I would actually see my dad was in the Trump hotel lobby when he would come to Washington, D.C. to visit me, but rather to visit Rudy Giuliani and see me because I was going to school in D.C. Little did I know that at the same time, Donald Trump's own Department of Justice was actively investigating my father and a few of his business associates for campaign finance related violations, along with other criminal charges. And on October 10th, my dad was indicted and he was arrested. He was actually flying to Europe to help Rudy Giuliani find more dirt on Hunter Biden. And he was arrested on the jet bridge. I'll never forget that moment, because in that moment, I was no longer Aaron Parnas, the law student or the aspiring lawyer. I instantly became Lev Parnas' son. The media defined me as someone who I wasn't, as the son of my father, even though I had no connection to any of that. The legal field shunned me. I even lost my job over it. All because something I had no control over happened to me, because my father was arrested. Now that night, I remember it like it was yesterday. I, at the time, lived at the Columbia Plaza Apartments in Washington, D.C. in Foggy Bottom. And I was on a run, as I typically do. I love running. I was running on the National Mall. And it was nighttime. It was, I believe, around 7:30 p.m. And I got a call from my father's then assistant, who told me, she called me once and I didn't answer. Then she called me a second time. And usually when
Okay, Lynn and Deb, if you're listening, we've lost Lisa. We don't know if she's back from Florida yet. Isn't this a good partner for Nikki? I mean, I'm just throwing out there. Everyone let me know what you think.
when that happens, something's
Just a
important.
date.
So I picked up and she said, Aaron, your dad's been indicted. Your dad's been taken. Your dad's been arrested. Go to the Trump hotel. Rudy Giuliani is waiting for you. Don't go home. Go straight to the Trump hotel. Now, I didn't listen to her. I went home. I changed because I was sweaty in running clothing. But then I got in an Uber and I went straight to the Trump hotel. Over the next 72 hours, I spent those 72 hours with Rudy Giuliani in his hotel room, game planning and strategizing as I slowly listened to Rudy Giuliani and those around him drift away from my father. At first, it was, oh my God, I can't believe he was arrested. And then it turned into, oh wait, should we actually support him? Should we actually still stand by him? Got to the point where Donald Trump claimed he didn't know who my father even was. And yes, then my father went on to be a critical part of the first Trump impeachment regarding the quote unquote perfect phone call with President Zelensky in Ukraine. And in that entire time, I was still a law student, but I was also his son. I had 6 siblings. At the time I had 4 or 5. At the time I had 5 siblings who relied on me as an older brother. I had a mother. I had my legal studies. I had a career, but none of that mattered anymore because I was instantly painted as someone that I wasn't. And that's why I wanted to talk to you tonight, because this is something that happens to far too many people across our nation. We are judged by the actions of others. I had nothing to do with my father's indictment, had nothing to do with his work with Trump or Giuliani. I was not even an adult during most of the time. And yet, despite all of that, I was labeled as someone and something that I'm not. And yes, my situation was very high profile. But if you're watching this and you see this and you can sympathize or empathize a little bit in the fact that you too have been judged by a family member just by being associated with a family member, understand that you're not alone. Understand that This happens. It happens often. And people are judged by the actions of others every single day. And yeah, it's been 6 years, a little over 6 years since my father was arrested. He was sentenced to 20 months in federal prison. He was convicted by a jury of his peers. He served time, did his time. He then apologized to Hunter Biden on television. I tell everyone, I love my father, but I'm not my father. And in those 6 years, I have spent countless hours trying to define myself as who I am. Today, I'm 26 years old. I graduated college when I was 18 years old, graduated law school when I was 21 years old. I practiced law for 5 years at big and small firms. I clerked for a federal judge, a very prestigious clerkship that I only got because I did well in law school. I represented in
I just want everyone to know this is our new favorite human being. He went to college at 14. He graduated 18. Kristen asked how many kids we have. I have 2 boys. Deb has 2 girls. Lynn has 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. And Lisa has 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Lisa is back from Florida. I'm just teasing her. She had a hell of a trip back. The trip from hell. She got home late last night. Lisa's 3rd child was twins. How's that? So she had 4 kids under the age of 4 at one time. It was hysterical.
Individuals and companies inside the courtroom and behind the desk for 5 years. I saw more cases than many. I appeared in a courtroom, appeared in front of a judge, made oral argument, and I studied. I studied a lot. And then I pivoted to journalism because I felt as though that my family in Ukraine weren't getting justice from American media when the war in Ukraine began in 2022. And so I did what any other 22-year-old or fledgling lawyer at the time would do, pulled out my phone and started to TikTok. Before I knew it, I had 1 million followers interested in Ukraine. And over the next several years, I've worked my ass off to build one of the most successful independent media operations in the country, beating CNN, Fox News, or beating CNN, MSNBC, rivaling Fox News every single day. And I'm so proud of that. I am so, so proud of that. Because tonight, for the first time in a long time, I can confidently come up here and say, I'm not just my dad's son. I love my dad, but I'm not just his son. I'm my own person. I'm Aaron Parnas. And to that 20-year-old law student who was on a run,
Aaron,
just know that you'll make it. And if you're watching this, know that you will too. Because sometimes the worst tragedies in life, sometimes the hardest moments that you have to live through, there's a reason for it. And so I make this video so that if you're out there and you're watching this, and you've ever felt that you are going to be judged by someone else's actions, know that you're going to get through this. Know that no one should judge you for someone who you aren't. And know that we're in this together. So thanks so much. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon.
Aaron, what are you doing? What are you doing next week? I'm going to have 2 girls on that I'd like you to meet. Isn't he adorable? Come on. He is, and he's smart. I love finding new people. I love what a great journalist. Used to be a Republican. Now he's a Democrat. Now he's an independent. Like, he's all over the place. He's young. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's thorough. I love him. He will fit into the family fine. Like, I don't know. Should I get him as a guest? What's our approach here? How are we going to introduce him? The girls had a bachelorette party in Vermont, so they're not watching this. Yes, he needs to. We've got women. Moon's over her hammy. You've been following him for a while. I just found him. He's part of my family. Lev had some issues. He learned, his dad. I don't know what's going on. Very excited so anyways, so we're going to listen to a couple more. He does short videos. He does like 8-minute videos. He's going to be watching the war. He's going to be giving us feedback, and we're going to trust him. So let me go back and see if there's anything else. If you're wondering why I'm always going like this, So I moved my microphone because I wasn't thrilled with how close it was. I felt like I sounded too on top of it. But now that I moved it, it's like maybe I just need to go up a little. I don't know. Plus, how does that look? You guys, do you know what that black thing is? You're probably like, what is that? It's in the way of my browser. Anyways, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Let's see what he's got. Okay, that was great. I love. So go and like him. He's got a YouTube channel. Aaron Parnas. P-A-R-N. Whoops. Hold on. Am I still sharing? No. Good. I don't want you guys to be seeing what I'm doing. Not that I'm not doing anything. Oh, he's so cute. He's so young. Okay, so let's see. Does he have a? Okay. Oh, he did something. So do we want to see his latest one? Which again, they're all 8 minutes. Or this, like, where do we start? Okay. I also want to hear what he had to say about Clinton, but now that we're at war, that seems a lot more. Let me see. Does he do lives? No. Well, he did it. Okay. I'm just rambling at this point. So that was 45 minutes ago. That was 4 hours ago. All right. We're going to listen to both. We're going to listen to 2 of them. You guys are here. Don't go anywhere. So I was supposed to go to Israel. I don't know if I'm going to Justice thing, but now because there's a war, I might not be going to Israel. So that's an I don't know yet. It's an I don't know. All right, so I'll add that to stage. Let's listen to this one.
The United States of America is officially at war in the Middle East once again.
Let me
In the
make it
past
bigger.
several hours, the United States and the Israelis launched comprehensive strikes across Iran, using the massive armada that the President of the United States built up over the past many weeks to strike military installations throughout Iran, nuclear sites, political sites, and, according to Iranian state media, even a children's school. The President of the United States made the announcement overnight while many Americans were asleep and made clear that these strikes would be the first, but not the last. In addition, the Iranian government has responded, targeting U.S. military interests in the region. And right now, there is a full-scale war in the Middle East. What's the goal? The goal is regime change. Donald Trump is urging the Iranian people to rise up and take over their government. In the United States Congress, approval for the strikes was not given, nor was it asked ahead of time. Multiple lawmakers from both parties are now demanding an immediate vote to rein in the President of the United States.
So I'm conflicted because I'm not conflicted. He has to get approval. I don't know what the hell's going on. Why don't we have approval? I do think there needs to be a regime change, but I don't know. But what's the plan? Like, did we just go? Because when I listened to what Trump said, there was a lot of I'm the greatest, I did this. And I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, this was the thought out plan. It's thought out strategy. We're going to go in, we're going to, infiltrate, we're going to take over, and then we're going to put X, Y, and Z in place. I need the strategy document to buy into this, to get my vote.
States' ability to conduct further military action in Iran. There's been a lot of news in the past 5 hours. I've tracked it all for you. Let's go through it one by one. It's going to be a long day, a long week, a long weekend. Subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below to support my work. And let's jump right into it. Overnight, the President of the United States announced the following military strikes in Iran. Take a listen to him making the announcement.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
In his speech, as you heard right there, the President of the United States is actively urging the Iranian people to rise up and take over their government, to topple the Ayatollah Khamenei, and to provide regime change in Iran. Now, who would it take over? That's not fully clear. There are many factions within Iran. It would create a power vacuum in the Middle East. And if this sounds familiar, well, it's because something similar happened in the early 2000s when the United States first invaded Iraq. At the same time, the president would not rule out American casualties in this conflict.
To kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran.
So that is the latest from the president. Now, meanwhile, lawmakers are reacting, saying that we need to rein in his power. This morning, Senator Tim Kaine demanded that the United States Senate immediately return to session to vote on his war powers resolution, arguing that Congress must formally decide on U.S. involvement in hostilities against Iran. Quote, the Senate should immediately return to session and vote on my war powers resolution to block the U.S. forces in hostility against Iran. Every single senator needs to go on record about this dangerous, unnecessary, and idiotic action. Senator Andy Kim writes, we should have Congress immediately go back into session for the war powers vote to reassert the American people's will, which, again, they don't want to be at war. So I'm ready to go back to the Senate today. Mark Warner writes, the American people have seen this playbook before. Claims of urgency, misrepresented intelligence, and military action that pulls the United States into regime change, prolonged costly nation building. It does not appear that Donald Trump has learned the lessons of history. Military action in this region almost never ends well for the United States, and conflict with Iran can easily spiral and escalate in ways we cannot anticipate. You also have Republicans reacting, saying, from Lindsey Graham, saying the operation was well planned, calling it violent, extensive, and at the end of the day, successful. He says the demise of the Ayatollah's regime with American blood on its hands is necessary and more than justified. He described it as pivotal and necessary operation to protect American interests and Americans. That's from Senator Roger Wicker. Congressman Thomas Massie, meanwhile, called the strikes acts of war unauthorized by Congress. And Congressman Ro Khanna says that Congress must reconvene on Monday to vote on my and Thomas Massie's war powers resolution to stop this war. We're getting some images from the AFP, the Associated Foreign Press, from inside Iran. Right now, the nation is at a near total blackout. Only about 4% of the country has Wi-Fi. This is some images coming from within Iran that looks to be some type of building that was struck. This is a satellite image obtained by the New York Times, the first publicly released satellite image of the compound where the Ayatollah, the leader of Iran, lives. Now, on NBC News this morning, right before I hopped on, Iran's foreign minister says that he believes that the Ayatollah has survived the strikes, although NBC has not independently verified the strikes, or whether or not he's alive. In addition, Iranian state media is reporting that an Israeli strike hit a girls' primary school in the southern county of Manab. Iranian officials claim dozens of children were killed and many more injured, though those casualty figures have not yet been independently verified, although strikes in the region have been verified. And if true, would be a horrific, tantamount to a war crime targeting young children at a primary school.
That would freak me out. That would be a war crime. But you know what? They always say that it hit a hospital or it hit a school. I'm always just trying to be right in the middle here and get the facts so we can talk about them. But I hope there was no kids, no school hit.
In addition, Oman's foreign minister told NBC News that he was dismayed that the active U.S.-Iran negotiations brokered by Oman had been undermined by the strikes, warning that further escalation would not serve U.S. interests or global peace. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. And ultimately, right now, what we don't know is the status of the Ayatollah. We don't know what the future holds for the Iranian people. We don't know how many strikes there will be, whether or not when the next wave of strikes will be. We do know that this isn't the first, because remember, we struck Operation Midnight Hammer before. It won't be the last. Looks as though it's going to be a lengthy bombing campaign. And what we also don't know is whether or not U.S. military boots are or ever will be on the ground in Tehran.
Yeah.
That would be obviously a significant escalation of any such conflict in the Middle East. This is a major development. The first time, well, rather, I feel like history is repeating itself. The United States is back at war in the Middle East. Will there be an end to this one, like the one we saw in Iraq and Afghanistan? That's unclear. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll have updates for you very soon. The United States of America.
Erin, hold on. We want to watch your next one. Hold on, honey. It's horrible. It's horrible. But I have to tell you, I follow the Iran regime closely, in the horrific acts of violence, specifically against women, is also horrific. The question is, do we get involved? Is it worthy of U.S. Military getting involved? And what's the strategy? And hopefully someone has it. I saw a few comments, and Kristen, I did reach out to the mods. I'll tell you, sometimes I accidentally time someone out and look down and go, oh my gosh, I timed someone out, just because my phone has been going crazy. And my let's see, Maddie and Nikki. Let's see. Oh, I said, don't come on the live. I know you're in Vermont at a bachelorette party, but I found your husband. No worries. I'm going to say nothing for you to worry about. Kristen, I reached out to the mods and said, did anyone block Kristen? Because she is blocked. I sent a text to Jess, but I know she's been really busy. I don't know if she's seen it. So don't give up yet. I'm first of all, I don't know how you block someone forever if you're a mod. When I go on, I can just time people out for up to a day. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. And Jess wouldn't. I don't think Jess even knows how to do it. No, hope you're not listening, Jess, but we do it. I don't think she's ever blocked anybody. So I have a really hard time believing it. So, so we will. No, it wasn't me. So when I go in, I don't even see you in there. But if I did time you out, it would have been for 24 hours, and it would have been by mistake. So she's really not into blocking people. She would definitely not block you. As a mod, you can, Zach knows, I don't even know, hide this user. Okay. How do you find it though? Isn't it something only Jess can look to see? No, I can't see. Oh, it's Kristen. I think she's blocked. I don't see any of her chat history or anything. So we'll figure it out though. We'll figure it out. It's not you. It's nothing personal. But let's get back to this, honey, Aaron, and what he's doing. Okay. So, I am worried, especially, I guess I don't trust the executives that are in power right now. So if they certainly don't need to give Cyberchick in Boston a readout on their strategy plan for this war, but I don't have the confidence that they're giving it to anybody. I don't trust the director of the FBI. I don't trust our Homeland Security. Like, I have a lot of mistrust right now in the administration, and I'm worried about it. Erin has one more, and I have to go soon, but we have one more. Erin, what are you doing tonight? Huh? What's going on? Where are you? You're in DC? Go to Stowe, Vermont. Go to Stowe, Vermont and see my nieces. Hold on, Erin. I'm not ready, honey. Calm down. I gotta load you. I took you down. Hold on, Erin. Maybe he wants to know about my cult story. Adding them to stage. Oh, I don't like that. I got to go make it a full screen.
We have major developments this afternoon as the United States is being brought into yet another long war in the Middle East. Right now, members of Congress of both sides of the aisle are saying they will force a vote on a war powers resolution this week to stop any further action from the Trump administration in Iran. You have multiple Republicans joining many Democrats as well, saying that a war powers resolution needs to be brought forth and passed. It's unclear if they have the votes. We'll talk about it momentarily. Comes as Iran's retaliatory attacks following the U.S.-Israeli strikes has now engulfed the entire Middle East, targeting countries like Kuwait, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, including in areas like Dubai and the airport in Kuwait. They have also targeted U.S. military installations and have successfully struck at least one U.S. military base. Same time, MAGA, those close to the White House, Donald Trump's base, are uneasy this afternoon over the prospect of a regime change war, with senior MAGA or top MAGA allies on the internet saying that they don't know what the future holds. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You may not like the news, but the more you like, the more people see this, and people need to see this news right now. And subscribe to my Substack, click the link below to support my.
Oh my God, Aaron, I was just saying that to the people. That's my theory is I don't really want to even know about this. Like I didn't even look at the Epstein files for a long time. And then once I started to, I'm like, oh, that's the problem is people are like me and they don't care. So thank you for saying that. We're interested. You update us. And I like that you do 8-minute videos because I can't pay attention. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what you said in this video.
I'm working around the clock to make sure you have updates right now. So according to latest reports, Democrats will be joined by a small number of Republicans, including Congressman Thomas Massie, Congressman Warren Davidson, and Senator Rand Paul. They say they will force a vote on a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's military actions in Iran, arguing that the strikes were conducted without congressional authorization. Most Republican leaders, including Mike Johnson and John Thune, however, justified the response to Iran's nuclear ambitions and regional threats, defending the operation, and doesn't look like they will support any war powers resolution. I do want to make something clear on the war powers vote. You need a veto-proof majority to get any traction here. Anything less than that will be vetoed by the Trump administration, by the president himself, and ultimately Congress will just be a kind of lame duck body that will not be able to do anything. We learned today that Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke following the joint strikes on Iran. The White House, through Caroline Leavitt, said that Donald Trump monitored the operation overnight from Mar-a-Lago alongside his national security team, including Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And it comes as close allies within Donald Trump's MAGA base expressed immense skepticism and unease over his push for regime change in Iran, warning that the strikes this afternoon dragging the United States into another prolonged Middle East war, saying the administration failed to adequately explain the move to supporters who backed Trump's No New Wars pledge, and voicing concern that a drawn-out military conflict could divide the base, dampen midterm enthusiasm, and shift focus away from domestic priorities, even as many say they are willing, at least for now, to trust Donald Trump's plan. This afternoon, Senator Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, has come out and said that Donald Trump misrepresented the intelligence prior to launching strikes in Iran. He issued this following statement earlier today.
Donald Trump just put us into another forever war in the Middle East. We've seen our country attack Iran, and let's be clear, the Iranian regime is horrible, but I have seen no imminent threat to the United States that would justify putting American troops in harm's way. What is the motivation here? Is it Iran's nuclear program, their missiles, regime change? Again, the president himself has said that American soldiers may be killed. Are we in another war that may last for how long? End of the day, the president of the United States owes an obligation to the American people to say what his goals are here and how we're going to accomplish those goals. I'm still waiting. The American people, all of us, deserve better.
Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican senator who is close to the White House, said this afternoon to CBS that this is a war that will last weeks, not days. And while it comes as Iran has launched massive retaliatory strikes across the region, this is a photograph of a hotel, a luxury hotel in the middle of a residential area in Dubai. There are no military installations here, and yet it looks as though shrapnel or some type of debris from an Iranian missile fell, catching fire in Dubai. We also have a video of a Shahed drone falling into a residential area in Dubai. We have reports of strikes on multiple, according to the Bahrain foreign minister, multiple residential buildings were struck in Bahrain. The airport was struck in Qatar. And here is a video of a U.S. Navy base being struck in Bahrain.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
As you can see, the missile did strike and damage significantly the U.S. military base. At this time, it's unclear whether or not there are any American casualties following this report. I do want you to listen to what Congressman Jason Crow had to say regarding upcoming war powers votes.
That could happen as a result of this?
Well, listen, I'm just damn furious. The man's a 5-time draft dodger. He's an elite. And I went to war. I fought with working class kids. They're the ones that do the fighting and dying. And how amazing of Donald Trump to say, that often happens in war. And that's a cost he's willing to take. Great for him. It's not his kids. It's not his family. It's not his billionaire donors who are having to go off and do it. It's kids in towns across the country that have to pick up the guns, jump into the planes and helicopters and get it done. And it's kids that are sitting there at military bases in Bahrain, like your video is showing now, who are sitting in bunkers right now because Donald Trump is willing to take a chance with their lives. This is everything that's wrong with our national security infrastructure and our policies, right? Elites make decisions. They talk tough. They pound their chests. And then everybody else is left holding the bag. Enough is enough, right? Let's actually have a conversation about what is in our interests, what we're willing to do with American lives, what we're willing to do with American taxpayers.
Here's what John Bolton, Donald Trump's former ambassador, had to say.
You support these strikes, but obviously there's going to be a lot of the president's supporters and people in the United States who listen to what he said on the campaign trail and certainly what he said in his first term and say, this is the president who said he was against regime change in the Middle East, that he was against starting new wars. What do you make of what would you say to them tonight?
Well, I think they made the mistake of believing that Donald Trump had a consistent philosophy, national security strategy, and policy, which he doesn't. My only regret is that I wasn't persuasive enough in the first term to get to this point.
In terms of the regime change of the
He's kind of right there. At least he's been consistent. He says in his opinion regarding war in the Middle East. Now, the UN Security Council has scheduled an emergency meeting for this afternoon. Reuters has confirmed that oil and gas tankers are avoiding or turning back from the Strait of Hormuz, which is one of the major shipping routes in the region, accounting for about 20% of the world's global oil supply. At the same time, in the United States of America, there are increased security concerns regarding possible sleeper cells or other types of terrorist-related attacks here in the United States of America. And well, according to CNN, law enforcement is now on high alert across the board. At the same time, we do have the Epstein file still. It's been over 24 hours since Hillary Clinton's deposition concluded. Republicans have yet to release that deposition to the public as required by their rules. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll have more updates for you very soon. Subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below.
Aaron, I'm going to subscribe, honey. Don't you worry. All right, that's enough. That's anxiety ridden. Is Bay Harbor Beauty trying to go live and I'm hijacking? Sorry. I'm almost done. Now we have to just chit chat over that. So I think it's good for us to know what's going on. I'm always interested I don't want to be caught off guard and I want to know. I also realize it's hard to know everything, right? And we shouldn't know everything. I know as a person involved in cybersecurity, I have so many conversations that have to be done through Signal or privacy chats that no one else can hear. So I get that. I totally get that. Like I said, it just comes down to, do I have a strong belief in the people that we've elected? And I'm worried about our rights. That's all. Okay, so it's good, Aaron. And I'm also finding husbands for my family members. As a matter of fact, the girls that are texting me, they're almost in a panic now. They're like, Auntie, I'm so confused. What is happening? I'm like, no, it's fine. It's going to be good. Aaron, come on over. We're going to have a pool party. We're having a pool party, 4th of July. You can come. I know you want to feel safe. I know. You want to feel, I want to be educated. I don't want to be caught off guard. I want to know. And I think Aaron's going to be our guy. And he also did a good job with so let's go back to the Epstein files, right? Some people are saying that this is just to distract from the Epstein files, but I don't know, like that seems like a stretch. Would you really go to war for that? I don't know. I don't know. Husband material. Right. Bay Harbor Beauty. I know you're just teasing me. Right? Husband, I think he's husband. He's 26. He's intelligent. Seems to have a good job. What were some of the things the girls wanted? Nikki wanted someone that would make her laugh, and Maddie wanted someone that could afford her lifestyle. I think we got it. Oh, sorry. It does seem pretty dramatic, Kristen, but I don't know. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. The world is crazy. I feel like I can't leave on that because it was heavy. First we talked about a cult, and then we transitioned and talked about the war. But I do think it's really important that we just kind of find a good newsworthy journalist that we trust that will update us. And I don't know why, but I love people that have a lawyer background. Amanda Doyle, when we went over the Epstein files, she's a lawyer. I don't know. They just seem to have, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just attracted to that intelligence and their point of view. I know I'm making, show us the squirrel. Show us the squirrel. This is fabulous. I put my pumpkin mask on. My skin will look brilliant. Oh my God. Okay, the squirrel, wasn't that squirrel cute though? It really was. Oh my God, my face is, I keep seeing the face is red. You guys are nice. You're talking to each other. And so let's just talk about this. We talked about it, the cults. We went into the war, and no one was vile on my chat. I have the best chat. I just have the best chat. We're having like adults conversation. We're behaving like adults, and we're learning together. And some of you may love the war. Some of you may hate it. I don't think anyone loves a war. But like I said, I know that there's a problem because I have people who escaped Iran. And so I do want a new regime there. So I don't know. I'm no help. I'm just like gathering information. But we were just very polite to each other in the chat. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a smaller group, right? You get lost in the big groups and the big chats. That's why I don't even ever tell anyone to like and subscribe. I don't care if you like and subscribe. This isn't my day job. This is just something I do for fun. I keep thinking, like when I'm going throughout my day, oh, I should probably go live and we can learn this together, or we can look at this together. It's kind of how my brain is thinking this way. I can't believe Zach is still here with his funny comments. You guys are so funny. Should I do a poll? In case you're wondering, I know how to do a poll. Yeah. And plus, don't you need a break from all the Karen Reed? And I am finding the Kelsey, what's her last name? Kelsey Fitz something. I just watched it, started catching up on it yesterday. I find that infuriating and interesting. But there's so many people that cover that. Like, I'm not here to cover the stuff that everyone's talking about. I'm here to get away from the Karen Reed drama, and that everything is, and which is really funny because I think if I wanted to like just be in for the clicks, I could just go down that route. But that's not what it's about. We want to be an educational channel. Fitzsimmons, that's what it is. I feel so bad for her, honestly. Zach is Dr. Trey 7 says, Zach is this chat's mascot. He's the Ben Rosa. Good morning, Zach. Oh my God, I love it. That is so funny. Zach, you're a mascot. That's it. There's no hiding it. You're our mascot. And that's your role. Bay Harbor Beauty. When I go live, we're going to talk about a brand that released lipsticks. They had fuzz and hair and metal in them. Get the hell out. How did my lipstick hold up? This is Wonder Skin. So if I am doing a chat, because I drink a lot, I talk a lot, I like to use the Wonder Skin stain because it'll stay on for a couple of hours. Good morning, Zach. Yes, that's our new mascot. I freaking love that. Hair and metal. I'm horrified. I'm a lip gloss girl. All right, you guys, it's been 2 hours. It's been fun. I'm going to go. I have things to do. I'm 10 minutes late, but that's okay because it's a Saturday. I'm not going to be held to an agenda if I can help it. Bay Harbor Beauty, go live, set up notifications, and we'll all join you over there. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.